Hey, peoples, welcome to the Games at Large, episode 108. I know we're starting on time for a change, but we got Olympics and football tonight, so take your pick. And since we Team USA on this podcast, we're going to be getting out of here probably around about 8 o'clock. So, that being said, I got with me Shadow Fox.
The one and only Olympian. Let's go.
Hey, we also got Liger
What's going on?
and Dr. Feelgood.
What's going on, people?
All right, first things first. We had a game release that a lot of people were looking forward to, and a game that I still don't understand what the hell we're supposed to be doing, and that's No Man's Sky. It finally released last Tuesday to some mixed reviews. I guess we could call that mixed reviews. Um, some people are enjoying it. I did see some gameplay of it. Looks pretty good. I just don't know what the heck we're supposed to be doing in that game, honestly. And I just want to get you guys' thoughts on it. Have you guys seen any of the gameplay? And is it a game that you think you might be wanting to pick up like at some point in time? Because I know we all working and got budgets and stuff. So, Shadow.
Um, okay, so I'm a little bit mixed on this because I some of the things in this game I do quite a bit in other games. I just those other games generally give you a immediate purpose for doing so, such as crafting, collecting items, and things of that nature. I everybody's used to, and there's going to be people that I always see the double standard in things, and there are going to be people who are devout Metroid haters that somehow like this game, even though there's a significant amount of scanning being done. But you'll be doing a lot of that. You'll be reading a lot of tags, um, discovering different species and stuff like that, and different artifacts and stuff like that that you run into. The point is, I guess the main reason is there's no immediate reason why you're doing any of this. Like other than hey, the ultimate thing is, hey, at some point in the game, it is suggested that you move towards the center of the galaxy. That is a suggestion. And of course, apparently there's something there, and there's a big mystery, so therefore you need to find out what's going on. But I haven't seen any other reason, gameplay wise, from beat to beat, where you would want to do that. There's no immediate reward for performing what are essentially menial tasks. Like to me, it's like I don't know if any of you guys have heard of Papers, Please, which is more sarcastic than anything else, but it essentially in Papers, Please, you're doing menial work just for the sake of doing menial work, and that's the point of the game. So you'll understand that life isn't always fun. I guess that's the point. But in this game, you're collecting stones. So I guess you can understand different languages and stuff like that. You're going through supposedly so many quintillion planets, if that's possible, in a single playthrough, which I doubt. Apparently, since the algorithms, this is a giant spreadsheet game. For those that don't understand what's going on in the background here, there's a bunch of randomly generated fields that you're basically filling and naming as you run across different things, and as you go to different planets, that you're basically you're going to a point on a spreadsheet or in a database is basically what you're doing anytime, because all this stuff is procedurally generated using some type of algorithm, just whatever they wanted to come up with at some point. So there's a bunch of probably random number generators or some crap like that to come up with what they come up with, and they probably use some type of function on top of the randomizer to make it truly random. But nothing's ever truly random. We'll eventually figure out what that is once you throw a brute force at it, and you figure out a pattern, match the pattern up to whatever the hash is, and then you figure out. That's a little too technical, but that's essentially what's going on in the background. So it seems like everything you're doing is different, but from all of the early encounters and other things that I've heard or seen from other people, be it press or otherwise, suggest that for the most part, any changes that you would see in anything regarding any of these planets or the flora and fauna that you see are going to be gradual in nature. So you'll see a creature with 3 feet and 1 horn, and then on another planet you'll see it with 3 feet and 2 horns. Or you'll see a planet that's essentially desert-like, and then you'll see it. You go to another planet that's essentially desert-like with 1 hill on it, or desert-like with a pond. It's not necessarily anything that's just like, oh, these are all going to be drastically different. You, depending on your luck of the draw, the vast majority of the planets that you visit might be desolate. Who knows? So it just completely depends. So right now it's kind of I don't know. Like I'm here, and why am I here? There's stuff around or whatever. From what I've heard from other people that from some of the press, obviously they're shining on the game pretty well. But I know a lot of people that shine on the game pretty well. They say later on in the game, basically the increase of encounters is raised even higher. So the opportunity for seeing different species and stuff like that is going to increase the further you go in the game. So that may be something to bring people back, or that may be a reason to continue doing what you're doing in the game. But right now, I don't really see from the average person that goes from, hey, this game is going to be so epic, you're going to be able to do so many things, you can go anywhere you want to, you're going to go, and then you're going to go and you're going to sit down and you're going to sit in front of this game, and the majority of people are probably going to be lost. Personally.
Well, I was lost watching gameplay, so I mean, that's just me. But honestly though, cause y'all know me, I like a game with a story in it, and when I never saw any like story gameplay or anything like that, and every time they showed it, it was essentially playing the same level over and over. Every time I just never understood what the big thing was, and if it's a crafting collecting thing, like because most of the stuff that I've seen has been crafting and collecting, so if that's the case, that's fine. But if I don't have a point to it, I don't see the point in getting the game. So, Liger, what about you? What do you think?
I mean, I've seen people. Like I said, I've seen some people on YouTube that I've subscribed to. They enjoy the game. It's a game that if you have the imagination to make your own story, I think it'll work with some people. But it's basically like you said, a crafting game, kind of like Minecraft, without that's the monsters or something, whatever. You have AI in there that could destroy you, whatever. But it's like, to me, if I have to like I said, for those out there who enjoy it, I've seen people enjoying it. Good for y'all. To me, it's like taking kind of like Shadow Fox. So it's like taking mechanics from other games, and nothing's wrong with that. But they're taking mechanics from other games and giving you the mediocre half mechanics of the game. It's a jack of all trades, jack of none. It's just like it ain't doing too well, but they took from other people, and it's not that great.
And not to fend for them or not to rag on them either. This isn't from, say, just Joe Blow indie development team. These are the people that made Joe Danger, so they know what they're doing. So this isn't some small task that they thought was going to be a fly-by-night game. This was a clear, intentional, I guess AAA. AAA usually means what your budget is now. So we can't really use that with regard to quality.
Effort. Yeah, I'm gonna say no, don't do that. But
Yeah.
I would say like to see the aspect of it's a vast world. You could travel any place. You could name species and stuff like that. Kind of like like I said, it's a combination of like Spore or Battle Galactica, or like Star Wars, like you have some of the fighting in the ships, and then you have first-person shooter, like some of the first-person shooting games, or you're collecting games like like it's like Minecraft, all put into one game, but it's not the best version of all those games. So it's just like the way I looked at it. Now, and also the problem is too. We talked about this in the off-air chat yesterday. They also this game also has the same problems as a lot of, which is sad. A lot of these games is exclusive console-wise. I hate that. I even hate saying that word, console exclusive. But it's an exclusive console-wise, and it's still having the same frame rate and drop issues as if it was a third-party game that didn't get enough, which is it should not have that. I
Mhm.
don't know what's going on there. That
Well,
makes no sense to me.
they did have to initially push it back because of some technical reason, and so maybe it was one of them situations where Sony was like, we got to have something out, so patch it as
Again,
you go. You know.
okay, so be like to be like Street Fighter Five, you push it and then get the initial. You know what? I never understand corporations when they do stuff like
Look,
that. So you know what?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, look, we all know how corporations act, you know. So hey, it is what it is at this point. So I mean, maybe that's what it was. I don't know, but
Yeah, I'll just say if you spend this much money, because they gave this little team a lot of money, you spend
yeah,
this
they
much
did.
money.
But that's the other reason why they got to have it out. You know that
Yeah, so a lot of hype.
yeah, that initial because a lot of people got mad with that initial delay, and they didn't want
Which
to hear
is
that.
okay, yeah, okay. I understand that, Jay. But still, I'm not gonna put if I have to push it back in the first place, at least push it back and have a quality
Yeah,
product. I'm sorry.
yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I'm just saying that's what my thinking is. I'm just I honestly don't know why, but my thinking is Sony was like, look, we got to have something out because right now think about it. What other big game has come out this entire summer?
Nothing.
This entire summer, really
Yeah,
nothing except for like like the Batman Telltales and you know
and those don't really count.
those that don't really count. That they don't really count. The only one I know this summer that came out, and again I show my little bias on my sleeve. Hell, what it is was Tokyo Mirage that came out in July.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah. So
all I
I
could
mean,
think of.
when you think about it, they haven't, and that's this across the board. So
Yeah.
hey, I mean, I like I said, I'm not. Don't think I'm saying, oh, it's okay that Sony did that. No, it's not. But I understand from a business standpoint. I understand why they did that. Sometimes you
Well,
just have to
you know what?
cut your losses.
I understand that if this certain rumor happens where I think it's gonna happen, if that happens, then this makes no sense. Then if we talk about the whole PlayStation out to PC, if that really happens, then it makes no sense. What you just said right there, throw it out
Woo,
the window
boy.
too.
Yeah, I could throw that out the window. Yeah, throw that out the window. But
But yeah, as the game itself, like I said, yes, it's. I'm sorry that it has issues, but I could see the aspects of people enjoying it and seeing why they want to do it. Because there are people out there who just love to create their own story. Jay, like you see your love story, but there are people out there who create their own story, their own narrative, and then make
mhm.
into this world. So for those people out there who are the collectors and like to want to be like an architect, not architect. What am I trying to say? Archaeologist kind of person, like go around data tagging and everything. Hey, this might be your game, and hey, I hope you enjoy it. I
Yeah,
mean, most people right now, I'm seeing that, like you said, it is mixed views because it's going from fives to sevens, and basically some of the stuff people will be saying the same thing with the whole the mechanics are not that solid. But again, you know what? If the game, I'll say this before as an end. If the game did had not have the issues of the of crashes and all that stuff to it, then I wouldn't mind that to a degree because that's at least you could go out and make your own progress. But when you have that same problem onto it, it's like, you know what? Wish you all the best of luck.
yeah, true.
Here's the other thing too, right? So the PlayStation 4 is supposed to be the most powerful 8th generation console at yet, other than the refurbished versions of these consoles are supposedly coming this time next year. Um, so that being said, if you are officially a first party game because this is essentially published by Sony, and you've had the better part of what 2.5 years, I guess at this point,
I
early
want to say it was,
2014.
I want to say it's more than that.
It was more than
Yes,
that, but it was a small team, so I give them
Yeah,
that break
yeah.
of it.
it's a small team, but how rich are the PlayStation 4's graphics libraries now? I think it was fairly well known before the console was even launched, and I'm looking, just if you just look at early footage of this game, I'm like, so why isn't this on Wii U? It's just one of those things where people always like to say, hey, well, this couldn't run on this and this couldn't run on that. I'm like, this game isn't graphically demanding at all. It's the whole thing is, hey, there's a whole bunch of CPU cycles going in the background. Okay, then it doesn't matter what type of CPU is running this really at this point, because those cycles can always be leveraged in other tasks and other processes. So
But Shadow, to be honest, there's no point to go down that road. 'Cause you can go down that road with almost any game released on those consoles.
Pretty much, but I mean, this is a pretty egregious example at this point. He's like, "Oh, this is an epic, expensive, blah 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 blah." I'm like, but just about every piece of foliage in the game is a sprite. I mean, you don't have any. But we have people that would nitpick on some of the things that happen in Xenoblade and stuff like that. I just don't really. I'm trying to figure out. Those haters that showed up, why are they silent now? I'm guessing is the point. And I understand. They don't have the game.
Yeah, that's why they silent. They didn't.
Yeah.
They don't have the game.
Oh yeah, because they're not gonna buy it.
Yeah,
and I was really close. I was really close to buying this one. I'm gonna have to think about it now. It'll depend on
I'm still thinking about it because, like I said, it looks interesting to me. It looks interesting, but like y'all, I don't understand what all the hype was about. And one of the things that's about me, because I love sci-fi stuff, but one of the things about me is I gotta have a story.
Yeah,
Hey, Jay.
And it's gotta mean something. Like it
It
shouldn't just be
doing
the
stuff.
I mean, but Jay, if your question is in reference to what the hype is about, well, I mean, take a look, and not to go off on a tangent, but look at the Sunset Overdrive. There was a ton of hype when it came to that game being announced for the Xbox One, yet no one bought it.
only we bought it. Only the Nintendo fanboys bought it.
It was only basically the people that bragged about the game being, exclusive and a great Xbox One game. They didn't buy it. They were just hyped because, hey, we got a game that's exclusive to us. And I think it's the same thing here. No Man's Sky is a console exclusive to the PS4, and that's why they're hyped about it. Whether or not it performs well or is a good game, they don't care.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being hyped about an exclusive to your system, because I can't sit up there and say, okay, you Sony fans don't deserve to be hyped about this, because that's wrong. If you want to be hyped about an exclusive title coming to your system, dude, be happy. I mean, because to me, exclusive titles are what differentiates the consoles from each other. That's just the truth. So
But also, okay, I wish Andre was on here, because I think he was talking about that he's gonna do a video about on his channel about why exclusives are important. Is that when you have exclusive, it should have the time to. That's why I'm kind of again going with what you said with Sony. It should have the time to marinate and use the system to its full potential, or at least show what the system can do if it's an exclusive to that console.
yeah,
It should.
it should. That's true. But like I said, I can't sit up there. I can't as far as my thing about the hype was where was because they didn't really in my opinion, they didn't do a good job of explaining what the title was, in my opinion. And there's plenty of examples of games where the developers did not explain stuff. Backlash happened, and then you got defenders on both sides. So
And I'm on your side, Jay, because honestly, I'm actually interested in the game. I am. Ever since they launched it, I saw interest in it. But my question was, and always has been, just like yours, what is the purpose of everything you're doing in this game, and where is the story? Because to me, if you just give me an open world game to explore, that's gonna get really boring really fast, like Grand Theft Auto 5.
yeah,
Because the point of all the stuff you're doing in the online part or the exploration part, it's pointless.
I mean,
You're just wasting time.
it's a sci-fi game, and I'm not fighting no aliens.
Yeah, you're supposed to. The whole point is you're building a ship to leave that planet, but they tell you to explore planets thoroughly. So what's the rush in getting off the planet then? Like you could just You can just max that planet out and kind of stay there for about 40 hours, and then whenever you decide to leave that planet, you leave and go to another one and take your sweet time there too.
But
They try to
but
give you a
but there
reason
needs to
to,
be
to scavenge
something.
for resources.
I mean, but there needs to be, like I said, there just needs to be something to motivate me to continue on the exploration.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like, and this is just what I can come up with out of thin air, but let's say there's something chasing you, maybe trying to eradicate you, maybe you're the last of the human race. I don't know. Something must motivate you to keep you going and exploring other planets. Maybe you're looking for something, or you're trying to build something that you need
To
tons of
get back
parts
home
for
or
to
something.
get
Yeah.
back home. Yeah, it's like, but if you're just telling me that, oh, well, we got almost unlimited, worlds out there for you to explore, so the purpose of what I'm doing is just flying to some desolate planet to
Well,
find a few items and then fly to the next one. I mean, I would hope it's more than that. And I don't have the game. I do. I mean, I am still curious about it, but I still want to hear more about whether it's going to be some type of story attached to this.
I get, like I said, and I don't. You guys are talking on one aspect of some gamers. This game should have become basically a niche because there's some games like Endless Ocean, whatever, where you just going around taking picture of a creature and that's about it. You're just saying I'm doing this just to catalog. So that's what I'm saying. There is a audience for this, but not the mainstream audience.
But unfortunately, the way that they hyped it, you're gonna have people like, I don't know, hip hop gamer trying to
Okay,
play it
okay,
and then
okay.
say, "Oh my God!"
Why even you bring that fool's name into it?
But
I mean,
there are
at least
people
like in
like
Endless
him.
Ocean, Nintendo explained that. Like they pretty much explained this game is pretty much for it's like just a calming experience. And just it just you sit down,
No,
you relax,
and that's
you
what I'm
see
saying.
things.
I got that. That's why I said into that experience. Like you said, they exactly they hyped it up, as Shadow just said, as something else than it should have just been simply because
So
this is gonna be
so
for niche audience.
now you got Call of Duty people and Madden people looking at this game like, okay, and of course there's no returns, so people are going to buy this and they're going to be stuck with it. And the only thing they could do is, I don't know, trade it in and get screwed on that end as well.
There, you know what? There's an article on IGN saying this is gonna be one of the most returned Steam games right now.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's go to something a little bit on the positive side. Now, this one is because this topic is bringing me down on an emotional level. So, our good buddy Vicky from Fangirl Review, we were talking this past week on Hangouts, and she, we were talking about The Legend of Zelda, and she said that this is her words, not mine. Um, she said that game series to her is like an abusive relationship. I'm like, what? She was like, she gets fed up with the game, but she can't put it down. So
hmm Yeah,
the
because she
question,
brought it up on our podcast when she was running the podcast. She talked about it. Yeah.
so my question to you guys is, what game that you get fed up with, but you keep coming back to? So I know
Like,
what mine is. Mine is an old school game
well, can I
that
go
I
first?
got. Yeah, you can go first.
All right, mine is actually a recent release that I keep going back to. I'm gonna say it, Splatoon. I easily get fed up with that game, given the teammates that I end up getting on, I end up being thrown with, and them doing the dumbest stuff ever. But I keep coming back to it because I mean I love the game. I really do love the game, but I hate it just as much at times. At least I hate my teammates. I would just say
Can
that.
can I'll make it even worse. You get put up with some people and they completely suck, and you're the only person doing anything on that team the whole time. The next match you're playing against them and they're balling.
Oh
I've
well,
had that happen.
Well,
I swear to God. I'm like, were y'all asleep when y'all playing with me? Like,
I got an even worse scenario, and I'll be
of
brief.
course.
About a week ago, for some reason, and Chuck told me this happened to him about maybe 2, 3 weeks ago. I got thrown in a lobby that was mostly Japanese players, and they kept sabotaging the match. Now, keep in mind, I won like 90% of them, but they literally weren't doing anything. They were getting like 60 points. They were just sitting there and just squid flopping with the opposing team. This happened about 30 matches in a row. So I kept taking screenshots of the scores so I could send them off. It's like it's ridiculous. Like these same people, it was like maybe six of them. They just kept messing around the entire match, and they were trying to basically drive me out of the lobby by not doing a damn thing. So I stuck around and stuck with them, won most of the matches still, but it was just annoying because they really weren't trying to help. it ended up really being a match 2 against 2 most of the time because 2 players on my team and 2 on the opposing team were just squid flopping.
I hate when that happens.
So I'm gonna
That's
upload those
it.
photos soon, and it's gonna be like maybe 20 or 30 of them. You guys are gonna see what I'm talking about. Now, I mean, you're gonna see the same names there, but it just happened for about a good 1 to 2 hours straight. They were trying to force me out of lobby, and they finally left.
I mean, because if you're trying to force somebody, just leave yourself.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but it happens in Smash too. It happened in Smash, and it used to happen in Halo 2 a long time ago. That's what people used to do because they didn't have no other way, I guess, to communicate. So they would do that kind of craziness until they either force you to leave or they would eventually leave.
Yeah.
That's not the first time I've heard of something like that before. Where people would just intentionally troll to hope that the person that they don't want in there would leave. Whether you're good or not, they want to play. They're probably waiting on somebody else to join, and they couldn't get in there with them. So
Basically.
And that's the funny thing that a couple of guys actually would leave the lobby or whatever, or maybe they got kicked somehow, and they would come right back. And at that point, I was like, why don't you guys just get your own room? Like, honestly, I got through in here. I didn't ask to be in here. But if you guys feel that strongly about playing with an American, just leave.
Yeah,
but
basically.
but they want to play with their max team. They want to play with their team maxed out against a whole bunch of people that are fed randomly because then they will have an advantage. That's the I guess that's the true
Logic.
crux of it. Yeah.
Yeah. That sucks. Liger, what about you?
Two games right now, basically. For me, one of them is a game that I'm playing right now, which is Hyrule Legends or Hyrule Warriors,
Ah,
which way you wanna go. I just finished the adventure map for Legends, and I beat all the stuff on that first big ass map they gave you. I'm like, oh, okay, good. Going to the second one where you can collect most of the new weapons and everything else. And the way they set up the way that is, I have to say this, Nintendo and
Tecmo?
Tecmo. That second stage map, the Great Sea Adventure, that's padding. That is horrible padding. Because you have to beat the stage to because if you play the game, you know that they have items on the original adventure map. So
Yeah.
once you beat it, you get items, and you got to use it as a search item to unlock the whatever weapons that. That's cool. But when you play that game, when you play that map, it doesn't have nothing. And then what happens is you got to play that stage, and then the item shows up. Then after the item shows up, you have to get the item, then go back and go search again. I'm like, that's plain. I'm like that's no. The only saving grace is so far this map is easy because all except for a couple of stuff, but it's most easy because you're not doing the crazy devastating attacks, blah blah blah. You're just doing like high ranking attacks and beat the other KO counter and all that stuff. So it's kind of fun, but it's still padding. But I'm trying to get to a point because one of my goals for this game is unlocking that freaking Master Sword, and I got to. It's just grating on my mind. I got to see what that thing would do. So that's one of them. And last but not least would be a game that I praised, that I promoted, and I even when you asked about games that you liked last year, I've not touched that game in a while because while I have so much games to play, so I would say that. But the reason I hate it is because of the system to get the cards, which is Puzzles and Dragons. I'm still at the last boss. I'm trying to get the daggone item drops, and the item drops are very brutal in this game. And and that last boss is a pain in the butt because it has all the cliches that RPG guys like you, Jay, and would like like us hate. Boss could it's basically like a Hydra, the last boss of the main story because they have another story behind that. The main story, the boss has 5 heads. It has a main body. If you ain't cut off if you ain't got at least one of the heads cut off, and all the heads are there plus the body, he'll hit you with an instant KO. And it also it can recoup itself. So it's like
So it's cheating.
it is cheating, but it's just like I say, it's frustrating. So I need to get what happened is I need to get all my 5-starter dragons to be the ultimate evolution. I only have 2, and to get to evolve the other 3 is the item drops, and they keep on dropping the wrong items that I need for the damn dragons. So it's frustrating. I like the game. The game is fun. It's something unique that I never played, and I like those kind of games. But trying to beat that last boss with everything it is now is just frustrating. So yeah, those are my two games.
Oh, okay. Well, me, I only got one, and and this game can be found on the Wii U on the Virtual Console, and it is called Contra 3: The Alien Wars. Konami kiss my ass.
Yeah, that
Konami
game is
kiss my
hard.
all y'all Dark Souls people, play that.
Or play the original Ninja Gaiden.
That too. Also
Ninja Gaiden
available on the
3, but when you got
also available on the Virtual Console. So
Yep.
yeah, Contra 3: The Alien Wars. It's bad when you get a second player just so you can use them as a human shield. And yes, I have done that.
Hell
I'm
yeah, I've
evil
done that
like
too.
that. I'm evil like that. I will do that. So yeah, that is my game. I love the game. It's awesome. It is ridiculously hard. It's everybody always tries to steal the spread, and it's just one of those games that I keep going back to. Anytime I want a challenge, it's either that or, like you said, Ninja Gaiden 3, Ancient Ship of Doom.
Well, Ancient Ship of Doom, you get a lot more help than you do in the original Ninja
Man,
Gaiden.
yeah, whatever, man. That help kick my ass. That help don't help me.
That help don't help me.
Man,
All right, Shadow. What about you, man?
Well, yeah, I'm still legitimately old school. I haven't really. There's nothing that's really made me that angry in a long time, other than fighting games for obvious reasons. But I have to go back to the NES days. I won't say Ninja Gaiden this time. It's actually not. It's not that serious.
Double
At
Dragon.
one point, yeah, there's the original Double Dragon is pretty bad. But I know I complained on here not too long ago about a game called Wrath of the Black Mana on the NES, which is really grueling towards the end. They don't give you any slack whatsoever with regards to playing anything like that. But lately, it's been a classic. It's actually an arcade port, and it's the arcade port of Galaga. Actually, it is. Oh my God! Once you start getting to higher levels, I wonder why they created the higher levels, because at some point I'm like, okay, so you designed this to just go faster and spawn faster and go faster and spawn faster, and to the point where you have so many enemies on screen, even if you have already created duplicate versions of yourself or whatever by having it captured and recaptured or whatever, you still don't have enough firepower to clear everything on the screen. So at what point does somebody pull a Billy Mitchell and find the pattern for this to where there's safe zones and places to hide? Because legitimately playing it once everything goes that fast is damn near impossible. And the NES version is like, oh, we're gonna crank it all the way up because you don't have to pay for quarters. So yeah, it's so not fun. So that game definitely has me going crazy every once in a while when I do pop in that cart. But yeah, I'm so frustrated by that. I'm to the point where I will run emulation of the arcade version so I can make myself feel better. Because at least you get intermission on that one.
Completely understandable. I will say that. Completely understandable. All right, before we get into my last topic, I just wanted to ask you guys, do you really think Square Enix pushed back Final Fantasy 15 to November 29th? We haven't had an official word yet, but do you really think that they pushed that back knowing that, it's already been 10 plus years?
Is Call of Duty coming? That really answers the question.
Good point.
If Call of Duty isn't coming, then yes, they pushed it back.
I would say I say no. Officially, like you said, yeah, unless it's official, yeah, we have not seen none because all the other stuff that's slated to come out September 30th is still coming out that day. So
yeah, because the movie is because I went and got that special edition so I can get that movie because I didn't want to pay extra for the movie. So the movie is still for September 30th because I think they're still doing the theatrical release, the week-long theatrical release at the end of August. in
Mhm.
select theaters. So, all right, feel good. What was your thoughts?
Um, of course, I don't believe anything until that's confirmed by the company itself. But if I had to lean, I am leaning towards it has been delayed. Not saying it has, but I do believe that the rumor is true. But I can see that. I mean, I know they spent 10 plus years on this game, and it's extremely hyped at this point. But at the exact same time, if they need more time for it, whether it's a month, you just never know. You
Yeah,
never know. So
that's true.
I can see it being delayed. Now, is that a bad thing? Of course not. I'd rather you delay a game and get it right, do a little more testing, than you force the game out and it's a piece of crap.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, as
Well,
long as
what,
it doesn't
what,
have, as long as it doesn't have a bunch of filler episodes, because I would love to see the further adventures of the Uchiha clan. I'm good. Naruto reference for those that don't know.
I don't have.
So, yeah, I don't know. I would hope that it would come out September 30th. Actually, let me be honest. No, I don't hope
No,
that it
you don't, because Luke Cage.
because Luke Cage comes out September 30th. So I'm not gonna be playing that game so far like 2 weeks after the end anyway. So that's just being honest. But I would hope that it comes on time for people who are not fans of Luke Cage. So that being said, we'll see. Like there has not been an official word yet. From what I've read, all the articles I've read, no, Square Enix has not opened their mouth. So all these people talking about it's confirmed. I wouldn't believe that because Square Enix hasn't said anything yet. So until Square Enix says something, I would take anything with a grain of salt. So just so
Hmm.
you know. Now, last topic because I'm a Patriot and Team USA is gonna be on in a little bit. Uh, Metroid's 30th anniversary. So um, a lot of people have been a little bit more than upset with Nintendo's lack of doing anything for the 30th for Metroid. But I just thought it would be cool to see what you guys think a potential console version would consist of, and what do you think it should consist of. Me personally, from a story standpoint, I would like them to move on from Prime. I say that again. I would like them to move on from Prime and go into let's learn some more stuff about some of the other lore of the Metroid universe, whole new story, yada yada yada, so on and so forth, and ship battles.
You can't have your way, Jay.
Yes,
Nah,
I
You can't
can.
have your way.
nah,
It would
nah.
be different if I said I wanted Black Panther, T'Challa to show up in Metroid. Then you can say that. But
Nah,
all I
But
want is
nah.
just something a little bit for the console version, something to differentiate itself. Something that we haven't seen before. Which one of them
Mm-mm.
will be ship battles.
Jay, Dart Samus is canon now.
I know she's canon, and then she's a
She is
dead
Metroid
canon.
Prime.
She's dead
So
canon. I killed her, so she's dead canon. You're right, she's canon, and she's canonly dead.
Hmm.
I thought she was canonly dead in the original, well, no, Metroid Prime 2, but
And I killed her
somehow,
again. And I
yeah,
won't.
you had to kill her twice.
Yeah, and
Nah,
now she's done.
if you read the lore for Prime 3, you found out how she got resurrected in 3.
And I will say this because I know a lot of people hated Other M, but there's one aspect about Other M that I liked, and that was those finishers. I would like to see that in the new Metroid game because I want to see Samus Stone Cold stun somebody into a rock bottom out of an RKO into a choke slam.
What
I,
the
I
hell?
don't know. The way she dealt with Ridley at the beginning of Prime 3 was pretty cool, too. Like, it falling at
Oh,
daggone
and
8 point whatever meters per second
gun
9.8.
terminal velocity.
arm cannon in the mouth.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was.
I mean, personally, I'm at a crossroads because I want a third person view? Do I want a first person view? I don't really at this point. I kind of want a third person view so I can do them finishers because I do believe she does need a rock bottom. Um,
Do you think it's time for Nintendo to come back and show people why Metroidvanias are called Metroidvanias?
I
Uh,
think
And
I think
they
it's a time. I think it's time for Nintendo to team up with the WWE so they don't get sued.
Yeah, because
Some
there
of these
will be
rules they're
wrestling
gonna
rules.
do. Yeah.
Well, no. They didn't get
Um,
sued for Wario World.
you can't
And
get.
And Wario was doing suplexes, pile drivers, spinning pile drivers, neck breakers.
That's yeah. If you don't call it the finishing moves, you ain't gonna get sued. You gonna
all
do
I know is Pikachu. If Pikachu can do a Stone Cold Stunner, then Samus should be able to do one as well.
And she
anyway.
can.
Oh Lord.
I want to
Okay.
see her shoot the birds, kick somebody in the chest, and you know what?
I'll go last on this. I'll let Shadow and Doctor finish it off before I go.
I'm just
Go ahead,
saying.
feel good.
I'm sorry, guys. What was the question once more?
And on that note, Loggy, you can go.
Nah, what you say, Shadow? What you say before I say anything?
I'm kind of torn between the two. Like Jay was saying about Prime, it is probably time for them to move away from that series or that franchise name. I still think there's probably room left to go for 3D with regards to that, be it first person or however they want to do it. Turn into Halo and it switches to third person whenever they needed to. I guess I don't know. Just kind of like how they did the what do you call that move
Some of the
not
force,
the space jump or whatever you want to call
yeah,
it.
their jump with like ground pounds.
Yeah, they actually got that to work. That was pretty cool. But I think there's room for that, and there's room for the Metroid Dread that everybody seems to be still asking for. So I just think that if they do it, they have to literally destroy anything that tried. Like they have to. It has to make you forget about the Swapper. It has to make you forget about any Castlevania game that recently came out, or it has to make you forget about any of those type of games. There can't be any more of that crap. Like by the time you're done with that game, the only thing you could think about after you're done with it is Super Metroid.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay.
Makes sense.
But I mean, there's a whole bunch of Metroidvanias that came out, and they were all sort of downloadable titles for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's going to be a third person entry in the Metroid series that's going to be the side scrolling type or whatever, you're talking about another $60 game or $50 game or whatever. How do you make one of those and make it as fulfilling enough to where you can say, hey, this is a $60 game. This is different from the $20 game that you downloaded on Xbox Live. So to me, I think that's going to take a significant amount of effort if they're going to go that way, because it has to stand out. It has to be different in some type of way, and it's got to be so complex that it needs to be
So complex that the people gonna bitch about that too.
Okay, you know what? I know how to fix this whole situation. Star Fox Metroid crossover like they were supposed to do on GameCube in the story.
Okay, yeah, I can work with that. Yeah, if we're gonna take Shadow's route, yeah, to be that different, yeah, let's do
Kill
that.
two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
But this is Nintendo we're talking about. They'll mess around and it won't be on SR332. It'll be on Dinosaur Planet, and we don't need to see Tricky ever again.
Dude, I don't want.
Well, hold up.
First of all,
SR38
I don't
don't
want.
exist.
Yeah, and on top of that, I don't want Samus going on another I want to destroy a whole planet thing. You know, I like her, but she crazy. She kind of cray.
She
You know,
she cray, but you got people making a sequel to a game that was originally imagined to be in black and white. Like that game is. That's the other thing. I don't know. Did we ever talk about that? The fan made Metroid 2?
no, we didn't talk about that because of the simple fact that I have a problem with people getting mad over a company actually protecting their IP and then saying that fans should be allowed to do anything like that. But if it was something that they was working on and it was their IP, they would have
They'd
their
be
lawyers
flagging
out
and
fast. They have their lawyers out so fast it'll make people's heads spin. So
Well, if I may be so bold, and this is sort of related, if I may be so bold, and I may even lose a few subs for this, but I don't care. But I'm going to go ahead and say Metro Prime needs to die.
Okay.
I say that because it's one of those things where it's kind of like people treating this game like they treat Melee, basically. How everyone thinks that Melee is the pinnacle of the Smash Brothers franchise. Nothing else is better. Not Brawl, not even 4. In fact, 4 should have been more like Melee and blah blah blah. And even against the creators' own words, they want to say the game should be a different way. Yet they still play the hell out of it, and people still compare newer games to Melee today. Like Melee, it needs to die. Not because it's not a good game, but it's because everyone's going to always go back and compare every entry into that game, even though the creator can come out and say, hey, it's not meant to be a part of that or be compared to that. Metroid Prime was Metroid Prime. I've been in arguments with people that say, Federation Force is not an actual Metroid game. I'm like, yes, it is. Metroid's in the title. It's based in the Metroid universe. They say, it's not a true sequel. I'm like, well,
The sequel to what?
Sequel to what?
Yeah, sequel to what?
but I've actually been in a back and forth.
Franchise sequel. Those are two completely different words, but okay.
But I've actually heard people say that's not a Metroid game. I say, so I guess Street Fighter V is not an actual Street Fighter game.
Yeah, because
You're saying that because it's not what you want it to be, but just because it's not a 2D Metroid game does not mean it's not. It does not mean it's a core Metroid game at all. Like I've actually met a person that said that since it's not 2D, it's not a Metroid game. I'm like, okay.
What?
So all those people that were complaining about Metroid going 3D, and then now it's actually the highest rated first-person shooter in history. Now these people want Prime to come back. It's like, well, now Metroid Spinball, that was a spinoff. Like that was a spin-off game, but you can't
Still part of the same franchise, though. Still part of it.
Say that's not. You can't say that Federation Force is not a Metroid game. Yes, it is. The creator has said so himself.
Well,
It's a different end of the story. So at the end of the day, I just think Prime needs to die so people can stop complaining. Let them miss it for 5 or 10 years, and then maybe one day he'll make another iteration and bring it back. I don't know. But like Melee, I think it needs to die because people are never going to be happy about it. They're going to compare every new entry to Prime, and then you got those diehard fans that if it's not 2D, it's not Metroid. You got other fans that if it's not in the same vein as Metroid Prime with better graphics or in a newer story, then they're not going to accept it.
and that's why games don't. That's why games don't advance.
wow.
Because gamers like that.
So
The same thing that happened with Star Fox Zero. People say, well, we want Star Fox 64. Well, you got it, and then now you complain it's too much like Star Fox 64. So it's never, it can't win because it's always on a losing end.
Because the gamers are. Hey, when you had your podcast, what did I say was the worst part of Generation 8?
yeah, it's the gamers, man.
Okay.
I thought it was Jeff Keighley.
Well, that was 7th generation with all the Doritos.
Okay.
The Doritos was 7th generation.
Yeah. Okay. For me, as a Metroid guy too, is like, I think they'll get away from Prime. I mean, they got a lightning in the bottle with doing Prime and then turning it into a trilogy. That was good. I love all 3 games. Metroid Prime 3 is the best out of the 2 is the best out of it for me because I love that with more puzzles and more of keeping you on your toes in that world. If I have to say, if they're going in the future, and basically I had a video on my channel talking about this, the 3 things why I'm buying Federation Force. They need to go. I would love to see they go after Fusion, or if they're gonna explain the lore, they'll have to do something which I did on the Game Ideas channel. They'll have to do something that explains the. It's 3 things they could go. After Fusion, explain somebody who's the person who's keeping tabs on Sandwich, which we gave in that same podcast. I gave a couple examples of who could be tabbing on Sandwich from every time she moves from the ship, appliance destroyed or something. There's always like a star or something on the side that always goes someplace else, and then go back to figure out who the Chozos really are, because I'm thinking the Chozos. She might have found that the Chozos, just like with the ghosts and stuff, might have been a very advanced race, and they were good and bad. And what Samus found out was the Nomads side of the Chozos, that they moved, they would keep on going from planet to planet to get away from the Chozos who were more bad or evil or whatever. So and she fell into that. And then you could add, as Double M put in my as question, you could add Samus's brother into that. Like they found the bad Chozos found her brother, or the Federation save her brother become a conflict or something. I mean, they got many ways to go with the story on this. And
I
to
got a
me,
question. I got a question from that. Didn't the original codexes state that some of the space pirates originally were Chozo? That kind of they advanced so far that they didn't see a need for good anymore.
That's
I think.
Metroid Prime. Yeah, they did say,
I,
but it was the warrior side. It wasn't the science side. It was
okay.
two sides.
Yeah, I thought I saw something similar to that. Talking about that. That being said, Red Knight put up a video, and one of the I didn't look at it yet, but one of the titles is saying that Metroid is dead, and I'm wondering if Nintendo has already thought it through, and they are going to kill it in a matter of speaking. And the reason why
now,
I say that is this is the reason why I'm saying it. How many excuses are they going to come up with for Samus losing her gear? So you have to
that is
refine new stuff
that
and get it
is
back.
I got you, and that is one of the weakest part of Metroid. I
And
grant you that.
that's in both the 2D and the 3D games. So I'm thinking
Well,
if
you
they're
don't
going
have
to
to.
do this,
You don't have to. You don't
You don't
have
have to
to.
do that. I mean,
Yeah, because that
that's
game's
just a design
that's what I'm
choice.
saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking they're going to come at it a different way. So if they come out with I don't mean Metroid is dead like the franchise is done. I mean like as we know it, it's going to be different. That you may end up being in a game where there might not be an intro where like you have all the powers, so you kind of get a light taste of whatever, and then you lose it all. It might actually be you actually start out with a set amount of powers, and you end up getting more powerful as you
That's
go or
Prime
whatever.
3.
Yeah, it might end up being that way instead of,
That's Prime 3. That's Super Metroid. You
Well,
basically had the powers and you kept on going.
all right. Let me. I'm gonna be serious for a second. Honestly, if what I would actually honestly like to see them do is tighten up that story because that story the main Metroid story is inconsistent as hell. It's got too many plot holes in it, and
I kind of disagree with you, but go ahead.
huh.
I disagree with you because there is a storyline and I've seen what Sakamoto have put through and met the plot holes I had was with other M answer those questions. So I could see the whole story from looking all the lore and everything. I mean, kind of
Other
like
M answers some questions. Metroid Prime series brought up some whole other questions. That's why I'm like it's too inconsistent.
oh well, you know,
That's what
I
I
would like to.
mean when I say
Okay,
it's
I'll say
too
this.
inconsistent.
I'll let you finish. I will say this. I would love to hear what those questions were after in the aftercast, but I know you got to go to your Olympics thing. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'll put it like this. For me, the story is too inconsistent. So I would actually like to see them do a start when from when the planet was attacked, her training, and go do a story from that. That way we get to see the Chozo, we get to see how her training progressed, things like that. We get to actually play it, not read about it on the screen, not you know scan some lore and they talk about it. We actually get to play it and play the story of it.
Okay, you just want to
pull
play
a
the
Lara
story.
Croft rise
Yeah,
of the bounty hunter,
Basically,
Metroid Rise of Samus.
but
not
but
exactly
you
that, but put it out there. Okay, this is what happened in when she was younger. This
well,
is
if you
what
say
happened.
I'll
Nintendo
say one
Director supposed to
thing.
be doing some of this.
If you
I mean,
say
I know we
that,
don't know.
if you
I
say
mean,
that, then we have to do the exact same thing with Zelda.
I've always said that.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
I've never not said that. I've always said that
That's a
because
long ass game, but
the
okay.
Zelda the problem with Zelda is this one: if you try to put every game in that timeline, it makes no sense. If you put the
Except
console
Zelda
games
1 and
from
Zelda 2.
if you put the console games from Ocarina, but not, and probably in Majora's Mask is a very iffy one. But if you do Ocarina, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, it makes sense. If you go try to put in, you know, Zelda 1 and 2, Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, I know how they work. But if you try to put all those other games into that, especially A Link to the Past, that story goes all over the place.
So
And that's why
only
I've said that with Zelda from day one. They need to tighten up that story and do it like that. And the same thing they need to do with Metroid. It's 30 years of stories, and they're not in any kind of they try to make it make sense because of the popularity of the series. They try to make it make sense, but some of it doesn't, and
Well,
you can't.
one
You
and
can't
two.
deny it doesn't.
1 and 2 make sense in a vacuum and in a vacuum only, and it makes sense because that was a completely different time that Nintendo was making games. So those two following each other make perfect sense. Everything kind of links up.
And then,
Um,
and then Sakamoto, when Prime came out, Sakamoto write the story for 1, 2, and 3. It may also, that's why I said it's lightning about. It makes sense from that too because he is half of the creator of the Metroid series. He wrote all the stories, so like I said, I've seen what he did when he put it in there. When he did Fusion, he had whole plot holes, which is one of the things I had a problem with. And then when he did Metroid Other M, as we had to talk about that last night on the off-air chat about the story.
Fusion's the one with the virus, right? The SX or whatever you had to fight.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when he made Metroid Other M, if you take the story as Other M and add it to Fusion, if you have questions, I can answer them because I was like, oh, that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes sense to me.
What he's saying about Zelda though is perfectly right. It's just like you have to look at it in the context of when they made those games. In the context of when they made some of those games, the story made sense for it to go the way that they put it. But when you look at a Hyrule Historia book and you look at them all laid down to each other, yeah, it's not.
Well,
I'll
say this to what Jay's saying. When Miyamoto did Zelda, he did not really think of a story set up for it. When Sakamoto and Gunpei Yokoi did Metroid, they had a story set up for it.
Yeah,
that's two difference.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to say that Metroid don't have a story at all. That's
I am not saying you're saying that either. I know what you're saying,
but there are my thing is, especially nowadays with how people like story structure and stuff like that, they are, you have so many games, there are you can't say that there's not any plot holes. That's just, you can't say that. And that goes with any story that has that much history with it. That much history, you can't say there's no plot holes. That everything lines up. No, they don't. Not everything does line up.
So it's supposed to be Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3. Metroid 2, then Super Metroid, from what I understand.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is
the easiest Prime
Hunters is after Metroid.
Prime Hunters.
After the trilogy, then Super
Where's
Metroid.
Fusion supposed to go?
Fusion's the end.
Yeah.
So Fusion is Metroid 4.
Yes. It is Metroid 4, but it's the end of the whole saga of the whole series right now.
Fusion, that's the last line in the story.
The other M is between Super Metroid and Fusion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we still don't know that much about the Chozo.
yeah, and there's basically that means Samus was really busy during a very short period of time.
Yeah. That's basically how we set up. Now, I give you that. If you see the plot holes of the Chozo stuff, that's why I said they have three ways to go. They could go back to tell the lore what's like I just said about the whole good, bad, if they're the nomads, the whole thing about the Chozos. That's the lore they could go and explain that. They get what happens now, because the only Metroid that we know of, I could think of many more Metroids really because of how the story is set up, but as the way it ended, Samus is the only one that has Metroid in her system. I doubt that because, again, I could figure out where because Triple M asked a question, is there any place to put other if there's no Metroids after Fusion, can he go any further? Say, technically speaking, there are other Metroids, but again, it's just the story plot. It's the story plot, not as a whole, but I know where the other Metroids could come from.
And don't forget, the scientists they kept a lot of the DNA around too.
So how did Cable say it in X-Men? Every country kept one nuke just in case.
Exactly.
You're
right. So, and then of course, then you have another story which we, like I said, that's two stories, and then the third one would be, it could be somebody's keeping tabs on Samus. Why every time she blew up Zebes, you saw a ship took off. When you play Prime 3, when you finish and you get 100%, a ship was following Samus. So it always something following her. So there could be a story into that, like somebody's keeping tabs on her. So you have three stories to go on.
Bayonetta.
And in the first one, it wasn't Dark Samus. In the first one, it wasn't. I thought it was, but she becomes Metroid Prime at the end, so she was there the whole time. She didn't leave. Somebody left.
and somebody left, and we don't know. It could have been Weevil, for all I know.
Yeah, it could have been Princess Zelda.
Makes sense.
Oh Lord, that's
Makes sense. Or it could have been the Tetris blocks. Who knows? I mean,
I got what you saying.
Could have been Glass. Could have been Glass Joe.
I got. You know what? I got what you're saying, Jay, and I respect that. Like I said, I would. We had to talk about it in the AFCast last time, and we got cut off. I know you were sick. You had to go do some stuff, so it's cool. I just said in the off chat what we did last week, last night. I asked people who play Metroid just as much, and I asked, I asked them a simple question: this what happened in Fusion, and they were like, it was that. I said, no, it came from this, and like, you know this? I never noticed that from Metroid Prime, from Metroid Other M. So it's like. They didn't catch on to it, so that's what I'm saying. There are plot holes in every story. I'm not denying that, as you said, no. But I'm just saying that it is a consistent. The scary part for me with Federation Force is that I have not learned that Sakamoto has done the story in this thing. And that's
ain't it somebody else?
That's what I'm scared about because he's done all the story.
Yeah. I mean,
y'all scaring me right now. Y'all have mutually disagreed on 2 points right now, and ain't nobody making no videos yet dissing the other one. Nobody's arguing and cussing. What is going on here? I'm not understanding. Somebody got to make a Crumb Side video and talk about how.
Well, first of all, man, I deal in jokes, so yeah, I don't do that. So I deal in comedic timing, but
the rift.
No riff. I agree with Jay in what he's saying. I disagree on if it's not a consistent story. I could find a consistent story, but there are plot holes in it still. Every story has one. I'm not going to deny what he just said. He's true. He's right. Jay is right.
I think they intentionally left some of that stuff because they couldn't explain everything about the Chozo at the time.
Actually, you leave stuff out so you can actually make another game.
Yeah.
No, and that's what I'm. And that's again, that's what I was going to point out. But I guess, like I said, it's just one of those things you can't. If you're going to keep on doing a series, is this because there's been 18 games now. Federation Force will be 19 games,
19
out of 15 games.
Something
Hell,
like that, yeah.
So it's going to be crazy.
The only thing I want, like I said before, I would like for them to talk about the Chozo. I would like to actually see one instead of seeing a stone statue of a giant bird, because I start thinking about fried chicken for some reason. And, I would actually like this.
Did you have to go there?
Yes, I did.
You have to go there.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
He's plugging that post.
I'm plugging that post. So yeah.
Hell yeah. So, I mean, that's one of those. Like I say, it's one of those. This is one of those things that's good. But like Jay said, and that's what got me a little worried. I would love to see this from the Federation side. That's what, like I said, on my video that I got to plug since on my plug that the 3 reasons why I buy Metroid Federation Forces. I want to see what if the Federation, whoever's writing the story, basically shows what the Federation was doing while Samus is doing something else, and see what the story and what if they could add to the lore. If you don't add to the lore, then I'm like, I'll be the first to tell you, wow, this just is out of canon, blah blah blah. But I would love to see that, and I'm only scared because Sakamoto was not the one because it was Gunpei Yokoi and Sakamoto who created this game, and he wrote the story for every game until now. I think because people got pissed off at Other M, which those are the people who don't read Metro understand, like I said, the plot holes that Fusion created. That's the problem, but I want to see what happens. That's basically it.
I hate when people hate on Other M. They know good and well they watch WWE.
Yes. And that was the biggest thing I liked about it when they first unveiled it. I was like, oh, did she really just
British Bulldog
on? Man, she put the British Bulldog on Ridley of all people. Like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Samus for the Women's Championship at SummerSlam.
I'm with it.
What? Lord. Don't act like you wouldn't watch that match.
No, I wouldn't watch that match. I mean, honestly, I love that you love your wrestling. I love the gameplay of Other M, but there was still. I granted it was the most brutal version of Samus to this date was Other M. No game, because all the time she did was just shoot, vaporize, and that's it. But she put her hands on people, and she really put her hands on people.
In the words of my grandmother, she blessed them.
Yeah, there was. Apparently, she had been playing some Smash Brothers before she started that.
Hell yeah!
Clearly.
Hell yeah!
Clearly.
So, you know I respect Jay that. Yeah, I wouldn't mind if they put. I have no problem. I know some people say, "Oh, I don't like Ninja Gaiden doing that." I liked it.
Shoot, I did.
I did too. But again, it goes to what my thing. The ultimate thing to this, to really say this, to what you asked Jay is, if Nintendo makes a Metroid game, I take it as is and just incorporate it into what's going on. As a person who's an artist and stuff, I understand why I want them to go some ways, but after these people have so much games in the libraries, like you know what? I just wait for the next ride. I just wait because
Yeah.
when you start asking for so much stuff, that's when you get messed up signals, and you might not get a game that you get a game that's horrible because other people putting their bad info into it. Ugh.
I kind of hope they start over, man, because it'll basically wash them of any limitations that they would have to have otherwise. And if they did start over new with a completely different concept for how Metroid should go forward, I think that'll probably be good for both new and returning gamers, I think, because you'll be like, wow, so I could do this now, or hey, what is this? Oh my god, like you'll have all those kind of moments instead of kind of these expectations, and then you're like, well, I can't use the grapple beam here, so that means the level design is broken. No, they made a game, and you're trying to force your expectations on it, and
They're doing that now. So
I mean, well,
They should just go ahead and just break. They should just go ahead and break the fans completely. And just make a Metroid RPG.
I'm with it. I'm with
it.
But see, that's my point. You guys are open to the idea, just like you're open to the idea of anyone, especially the creators, trying something different. Then we went from 2D to 3D. They tried something different. Now everyone thought it was a good idea, but then it worked out, and it worked out flawlessly. Even though those games haven't sold that well as people are yelling that they are yelling about. But you're open to it. But some other fan out there, man, this ain't a Metroid game. If it's not Prime, it's not Metroid. Well, how the hell do you know? Like until you play it.
Yeah.
Super Metroid was a Metroid game.
Federation Force right now. But this is the issue we have.
I mean,
right now
I
with Prime. I mean, with Federation Force.
I wouldn't. I actually would not mind playing a Metroid RPG game. Hopefully, it has either Game Arts or the team at Tails working on it, Namco Bandai, and you know,
or Monolith.
Or Monolith, yeah, or Monolith. Monolith's fine. I mean, the only problem with Monolith is I'm gonna need to dual wield arm cannons. What?
Never.
Or spend sufficient time in the Zero Suit for educational purposes.
Okay, they can do that. They can do that. You probably could. I don't know. Maybe they should make that a DLC character for that game right now. But
man, dude, the feminists will be on that game so bad.
But it's not a problem.
I done seen your vids on Xenoblade, sir.
Yes. Yes, and there will be more. So. Hey, you think those are bad? Wait till you see Sunset Overdrive.
Oh snap! But okay, people,
oh
that's gonna
God.
do it.
I was gonna mention the dildo gun, but go ahead, end the cast.
Please don't. Yeah, please don't.
Yeah, that's it.
So, people, that's it. I'm sorry if you had questions and we didn't get to them. I promise we'll get to them next week. Does anybody have anything they want to pimp out that they got coming up next week? Anybody?
Watch the channel. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
OGL on Thursday.
Okay.
That's it.
Lager got anything or?
Yeah. Sorry, just for me again. Yeah, I just put out a video on my channel talking about Metroid. Wildlife Federation Force. You can check it out. Also, if anybody's check a part of it, I put up a video called "Something's Not Right," and I've gotten some interesting theories on this one. So I would love anybody who's listening to it check out my theories. It's about third party and Nintendo. If you do, I mean, it's just throw it up there. I add your comments and your theories to it because I'm not literally people are adding like Shadow Fox's type of line comments to that video. Or like 23 or 200 foot lines and stuff.
Don't get me started.
Well, hell, I'm just saying, you can go to the video, you see people got long comments, so check that out. And I'm gonna do a podcast of that sooner or later. But yeah, that's the only two things I can think about. And technically speaking, today, I just pre-ordered Federation Force myself. So hell, 19th I'll be gaining.
How dare you wait so long? Anyway, Yeah, I don't have a lot of stuff. I was able to find a copy of the gameplay I did for Street Fighter story mode, Street Fighter 5 story mode. So I am going to be uploading that this week, and I did find a vid for my I am Setsuna that wasn't corrupted before my game capture device went out. So I'll upload that as well this coming week. Other than that, we'll see you guys next week on next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go Team USA, and good luck in the track, Justin Gatlin. I don't know if you're gonna beat Usain Bolt, but hey, I'm sorry, man. I'm a Bolt fan. But other than that, go Team USA,
Wow.
and we'll catch y'all next week. Peace out.
Hey,
Deuces. Free Mr. T from that